Welcome to the Hallowed Chambers, the platform where power meets accountability and policy meets the people. I am Tijesu Adeoye, and each week we take you inside the corridors of governance to interrogate decisions, scrutinize leadership, and amplify voices shaping our democracy. This is where the issues are tough, the questions are direct, and the truth matters. Let's start with the push by the Senate to amend Nigeria's Electoral Act. The Senate has passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill following an extensive clause-by-clause consideration of the report by its Committee on Electoral Matters. Lawmakers upheld the electronic transmission of election results, retained stricter penalties for vote buying, and approved significant changes to Nigeria's electoral timetable. After nearly 3 hours of intense deliberations, the Senate passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, signaling another major step in Nigeria's electoral reform process. One of the key provisions retained is the electronic transmission of election results, with the law reaffirming the powers of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to transmit results, including the total number of accredited voters and ballot outcomes, in a manner prescribed by the Commission. The Senate, however, disapproved the replacement of lost permanent voter cards through downloadable alternatives, citing concerns over the integrity of the process. On electoral offenses, lawmakers increased the penalty for buying or selling voter cards to a fine of 5 million naira or a 2-year jail term, but removed the proposed 10-year ban on participation in elections for convicted offenders. The amendment also shortens the electoral calendar. Notice of election is reduced from 360 to 180 days, while political parties must submit their list of candidates to INEC at least 90 days before election, down from 180 days. Publication of nomination details is also reduced from 150 to 60 days, and INEC is now required to invite political parties to inspect voters' registers within 20 days. Following the passage of the bill, the Senate set up a conference committee to harmonize the legislation, to be chaired by Senator Tahir Mungunu.
For the Senate Conference Committee, we have distinguished Senator Mohammed Taid Mungunu as chairman. We have from the Northwest, we have distinguished Senator Adamu Aleru, and then we have from the Southeast, we have distinguished Senator Ojosa Kalu. From the North Central, we have distinguished Senator Abba Muru. From the South, we have distinguished Senator Asukwa Ekpeyon. From the Northeast, we have distinguished Senator Aminu Iya Abbas. And from the Southwest, we have distinguished Senator Tokumbo Abiru as members of the conference committee. They are to work and bring back the harmonized version as soon as practicable, but within the month.
The House of Representatives has queried alleged discrepancies in the capital expenditure component of the Ministry of Finance's 14.32 billion naira 2026 budget. The Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, appeared before the committee to defend the proposed 14.32 billion naira 2026 budget of his ministry. But the lawmakers are not comfortable with the alleged discrepancies in the 5.2 billion naira capital expenditure component of the budget. But the minister made some clarifications.
We're talking about revenue. We want to know the sources, what made up that revenue, and what, as against what targets. Because we cannot even see your revenue budget here. You have it, DFA. You have your revenue budget, budget head by budget head. You have it. So you are not prepared. You are not prepared.
They captured the debt servicing under that particular heading. So we would have to trace back as to why. So it is not part of our normal capital budget. It is actually debt service. That's how it came classified to us. So we have from the budget office. So we did not, that figure was handed out to us.
The ad hoc committee investigating the status of intervention funds in the agricultural sector has given the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, heads of other relevant financial institutions, including the National Bureau of Statistics, till next Tuesday to appear before it or risk warrant of arrest. The resolution was taken at the resumed sitting of the panel. My colleague, Jokadisa, reports.
In the last few weeks, this ad hoc committee has been beaming its searchlight on the state of the many intervention funds from the government and development partners to address food insecurity and nutrition challenges. It's the resumed sitting of the committee, and the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Yemi Cardoso, and other invited chief executives of financial-related institutions are absent. The committee frowned at the absence, describing it as an affront on the National Assembly as an institution. It agreed to re-invite the affected officials, but warned of dire consequences should they fail to appear again.
All the relevant processes for issuance of relevant summons on these aforementioned agencies and financial institutions be activated, completed, and duly served on them. We cannot let the Nigerian people down. Federal government of Nigeria have shown good faith, but there have been outcry that what we have gotten in return is far below what is expected.
Representatives of a number of commercial banks, including Sterling Bank, Unity Bank, and Jaiz Bank, appeared before the committee but failed to provide needed information that will assist the lawmakers in their task.
If you want to come before us, you should come before us. You cannot be going front and forth. I thought you have that from introduction up to 16th so that we can move on, so that members would know you are party page A, page B, page C. And I haven't done that. Now it comes down. And even this way, it's not a presentation.
The information you just provided are missing in the documents here. However, we will seek the indulgence of the committee to enable us, put the documents in the order you just mentioned, and probably make an appearance in the next sitting coming up.
The committee thereafter ruled that the financial institutions provide details of inflow and outflow of funds received and full details of beneficiaries, amongst others.
We will take a quick break, and when we return, Honorable Ismaila Dabo, representing Toro Federal Constituency of Bauchi State, will join me to shed some light on the Electoral Act amendment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with the Hallowed Chambers. Now, my guest today is Honorable Ismaila Dabo from... Protesters stormed the National Assembly demanding mandatory electronic transmission of election results. The Senate convenes an emergency plenary session on the Electoral Act amendment amidst mounting public pressure and ongoing protests. From protests at the gates to fiery exchanges in committee rooms, it was a dramatic week that kept the National Assembly firmly in the national spotlight. This is TVC News Hallowed Chambers. I am Tijesu Adewi. Tension and drama unfolded at the National Assembly in Abuja as civil society organizations, political activists, and opposition figures converged to demand a mandatory electronic transmission of election results in Nigeria. The protesters say anything short of a clear legal backing for electronic transfer of results risks undermining public confidence in future elections. Placards held high, voices loud, and tempers flaring under the Abuja sun. Dozens of protesters marched to the gates of the National Assembly, insisting lawmakers must not weaken provisions that guarantee credible elections. Their demand, simple but emphatic: make electronic transmission of election results compulsory. Some opposition politicians also joined the rally, accusing lawmakers of attempting to roll back electoral gains achieved in recent elections.
We need to address our concerns about this country and election. What we want is an electoral process that is transparent from beginning to finish. Our demands about the amendment is simple. Let us have an amendment that allows, first, let no qualification of people who want to contest the election. And that qualification must be advertised. So if anybody says, I went to this primary school, I went to this secondary school, I went to this university, people are supposed to know about that.
We're just saying to the National Assembly, especially the Senate, that they must ensure that in the amendment that is on the bill that is to be passed, that they have electronic transmission, real-time, on-time electronic transmission of results, so that the mandate of the people will count. All we want is for people's result, the way they voted, it should be put out there. It's nothing much, it's nothing. And the National Assembly has the veto power to be able to pass it into law, no matter what happens.
It was a heated and dramatic session in the Senate as lawmakers convened an emergency plenary to deliberate on contentious amendments to the Electoral Act, even as protests raged outside the National Assembly complex. Tempers flared, voices rose, and sharp disagreements underscored deep divisions over the future of Nigeria's electoral reforms. What was expected to be a routine legislative sitting quickly turned tense. Lawmakers gathered under mounting public pressure, with protesters outside demanding mandatory electronic transmission of election results. Inside the chamber, however, consensus proved difficult. Several senators openly disagreed over whether Nigeria is technologically and logistically prepared for compulsory electronic transmission nationwide. At moments, debates grew heated, forcing the Senate's leadership to repeatedly call lawmakers to order.
The presiding officer shall electronically transmit the results from each polling unit to IREP portal, and such transmission shall be done after the prescribed Form ECHA has been signed and stamped by the presiding officer and or countersigned by the candidates or polling agents where available at the polling unit.
Rescind the proposal that he made in the last plenary, which was taken. I therefore second the motion that he be allowed to...
What is the motion? What motion? What is the motion? Come tell us. Oh, yes.
Those in support of the motion as enunciated by Senator Mongunu and seconded by Senator Bamoro say aye. Aye. And those again say nay. Nay. The ayes have it.
By the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there will be no question before the Senate. But no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail to the President of the Senate when his leave to make it is sought.
Senator Goje, because you have not submitted the statement that you want to make in line with what you read, you said the terms of the proposed submission shall be made available to the President of the Senate. I don't have the terms. Can we take it after we finish with our voice, please? Your point of order is noted.
After hours of debate and consultations, the Senate resolved to retain existing provisions that allow electronic transmission of results where and when practicable, rather than making it mandatory. Lawmakers also reaffirmed commitments to further consultations with electoral authorities before finalizing amendments. But the decision has already sparked criticisms from civil society groups and opposition figures who accuse lawmakers of diluting electoral safeguards.
Those in support that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 4th day of February 2026 as amended be approved and adopted. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Drama unfolded at the Senate during the budget defense of the Ministry of Steel Development as a heated exchange briefly disrupted proceedings. After nearly 4 hours of deliberations on the ministry's budget and the future of the Ajakuta Steel Complex, tensions boiled over. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, representing Kogi Central, continued pressing ministry officials over transparency concerns surrounding agreements tied to the steel project. But when the committee chairman, Senator Patrick Ndubueze, attempted to bring the session to a close, citing time constraints, the move sparked sharp resistance. The Kogi senator insists critical issues remained unresolved, leading to a tense back and forth that momentarily stalled proceedings. Order was eventually restored and the session concluded, but the confrontation highlighted lingering concerns over accountability, host community engagements, and the future of Nigeria's long-delayed steel ambition. The heated exchange underscores the growing intensity of the budget defense sessions as lawmakers demand clearer answers on projects considered vital to Nigeria's industrial revival.
In September 2024, we signed an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the OEM, the original equipment manufacturers, basically the guys that built Ajakuta initially, the TP and the consortium, and like you rightly mentioned. But what we discovered and what we realized several months after the transaction, the MOU had been consummated, was that the Russia-Ukraine war was a big distraction.
In 2019, there was a bilateral agreement entered into in Sochi, Russia, between President Mohamed Buhari, of late blessed memory, and President Putin. At that bilateral agreement, Ajakuta was, of course, a top focus, and 1.45 billion was pledged by the government. The money was domiciled in Afri-Exim Bank and was supposed to be taken out of the $50 billion that Russia had put forth for African countries to access. Hold a second. We started, of course, you were not a minister then, but the ministry existed.
The MD, Ajakuta, and the National Iron Ore Mining, because we have to attend to you today. Thank you.
Something to say. You have that, please. Do you mind if I do so?
Distinguished, let us call it a close for the minister.
It's very important,
when
please.
We come for investigative.
No, Honorable Minister, please, I'd like to say this.
Mr. Minister.
No, please, do not hit the gavel. I still have something to say, and I think you should respect me enough. Please don't do that.
I've given you respect.
No, that's not it.
Mr. Minister, your time
Mr. Chairman.
is up. Thank you.
Then that's fine.
You have
I
to
think
wait.
you just
Don't
respected
go
me more than enough.
No.
A joint budget defense session of the National Assembly turned dramatic as senators clashed over procedure while reviewing funding proposals from the Ministry of Works. Proceedings had moved smoothly with Works Minister David Umahi presenting budget plans and lawmakers offering contributions until tensions suddenly flared. Trouble began when Senator Onyekachi Nwebonyi of Ebonyi North, while making remarks largely praising the minister's performance, was asked by the presiding officer, Senator Rufai Hanga of Kano Central, to round off his comments. Nwebonyi resisted, arguing others had spoken longer without interruption, triggering a heated back and forth between both lawmakers. The exchange escalated as both senators traded sharp remarks, briefly disrupting proceedings before senior lawmaker stepped in to calm the situation and restore order.
When somebody spoke for 15 minutes, Mr. Chairman, I'm a personal officer. Please, somebody spoke for 15 minutes. And I will talk it for 5 minutes.
You can't shout at me.
I will shout at you. I can preside over this over you.
You can't.
I spoke for 5 minutes.
You cannot.
There's somebody talk for 15 minutes.
I'm also a prisoner of
Don't talk me down, please. I can preside over this meeting.
You can't.
That is the protocol.
No, you can't.
Earlier, Minister Umahi challenged lawmakers to inspect ongoing projects, insisting he would resign if major highways under construction failed quality standards. He also disclosed that hundreds of billions of naira have been earmarked for new road projects nationwide, with plans to raise additional funds through the domestic bond market. The clash highlights growing tension as lawmakers intensify scrutiny of infrastructure spending amid mounting public expectations for better roads nationwide.
If you appraise the cost of building materials now compared to where we were before the fuel subsidy was removed, then you can imagine what the cost of such projects would be.
I want to read out what I saw here, and I need to be educated. Dualization of local job Bini or Biden junction.
Which one? Which document?
Section.
Hold on, sir. If you want me to answer the question, you have to take it easy. Okay? So if I don't follow you, I will not answer. You have to take it easy. I take it one by one. I didn't have this. I'm just getting it.
Let's step away briefly from drama and tension at the National Assembly. And when we return, I'll be speaking with the senator representing Oyo Central on the growing controversy surrounding the electronic transmission of election results. Stay with us. Calm your nerves. We'll be right back.